who joined me, her name was Shama Priya, and she was a disciple of Fridayananda Maharaj, and she passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2009. So that was a great loss for our preaching mission. But I have some interesting stories to tell you about the prison ministry, including stories about Srila Prabhupada you've never heard before. Now, how can I be so sure? Haribol. How can I be so sure? Well, I've spoken to many thousands of devotees, and I've said the same thing, and nobody's heard the story before. So you'll get to hear it, if you remind me, okay, toward the end. Is that okay? So, to offer respects to Srila Prabhupada, before we begin, I would like to offer prayers to Srila Prabhupada. I can't possibly chant Jai Radha Madhava unless somebody else wants to try. I just have to do this the way I can do it. In Boston in the early 70s, there was one bhakta who came to the temple. And he sort of plopped his things down in the front hallway and made it his room. He was kind of an eccentric fellow. The devotees used to call Crazy Peter. And Satsvarup Maharaj was, well, I don't know, he was a householder then. Anyways, he said, Srila Prabhupada, the boy is okay, but he's a little eccentric, Srila Prabhupada, can we ask him to move out? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, I ask you to tolerate him as I tolerate you. So Crazy Peter went on to do great things. He was a great scholar. He became a Sanskrit editor at BBT. He was brilliant, and he was devoted. Just a little different at first. So he wrote these prayers. You're going to like these prayers very much. And the translation into English was done by Dravida Prabhu, and I read these prayers every morning. We're also speak about the holy names. So the Sanskrit is Kushakrata Prabhu, and the English translations are Dravida. Shri Shri Navadvipa Parapradipa Sandipimana Satato Bhuviya Chetastamohanti Jasya Jatnat Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. The transcendental lamp of Navadvip, Gauranga Dev, he took with great endeavor round the world the souls to save, who long had dwelt in darkness, never chanting Krishna's name, the vast renown of Srila Prabhupada. I now proclaim, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Prachodita Shri Vyasyadikosham Kushalam Kripaluhu Sanmalecha Vagdesha Chaye Dadhajas Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. The sacred treasure left by Vyas and other learned saints he rendered into English free of speculations, taints. And thus he mercifully fulfilled Sri Saraswati's aim, the vast renown of Srila Prabhupada. I now proclaim. Achchadyate jat parataka drishya Govindamurtuj valabhaskarena Advaitika dyota kulam jagatyam Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. The brilliant sun of Lord Govinda's form is shining bright throughout this world because of his sharp logic's awesome might. That sun makes all the Mayavadi glowworms hide in shame the vast renown of Srila Prabhupada. I now proclaim. Jas Jaiva Jatnina Purana Raja Gangamalas Keshava Keli Hangsa Sat Stotra Ratna Vahitiya Loke Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. The pristine Ganges of the Bhagavat flows everywhere because of his great effort. In that stream, the sages' prayers are gems, and Krishna's pastimes are swans, sporting unrestrained, the vast renown of Srila Prabhupada. I now proclaim. Shri Radhika Krishna Padara Vinde, Sahasrahritsu Shatamandareshu, Aropaya Jo Madhure Prativyam, Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. Ensuring that his mission's victory would be complete, he planted Sri Sri Radha Krishna's charming lotus feet in temples by the dozen and in countless hearts unchained. The vast renown of Srila Prabhupada I now proclaim. Kaushalya Dayar Jasya Sahasra Shastra, Shastrati Varshai Pratihanyatehi, Chandakalir Moha Chamurhatena, Tankirtayama Prabhupada Devam. The fierce and formidable army led by wicked Kali is being slain by arrow showers, volley upon volley. Those arrows are his all-auspicious book of spotless fame. The vast renown of Srila Prabhupada I now proclaim. Nana lasad gora sutha prakasha, palakshitaustapidheva jena, Krishnanuchinta janasanga briksho, tankirtayama Prabhupada devam. The Hare Krishna movement's a desire tree whose fruits are all the splendid ways Lord Gaura's army wins recruits. To plant that tree upon the earth, from Krishna's realm he came. The vast renown of Srila Prabhupada I now proclaim. Jo nityada jiftitaiva kishu, nijasu suksasha sahanugami, kripambudir nanda sutta shritatma, tankirtayama Prabhupada devam. An ocean of compassion he has taken shelter of, Sri Nanda's son, with all his being and everlasting love. He lives on by his words, whose followers with him remain. The vast renown of Srila Prabhupada I now proclaim. I pray that those who read this hymn, which shines the brilliant light of Srila Prabhupada's renown in Kali Yuga's night, will soon attain firm faith in his instructions so that they may one day join him in Golok and there with Krishna stay. Srila Prabhupada ki. Now those were quality prayers. Now I do my best. Srinamal Grahana Mantra is a prayer written by the Acharyas, 8 stanzas to their own mala. And so in that mood, I wrote 108 prayers to my mala. They're just short little shlokas. But brahmacharis here and there, they chant these prayers Kadashi mornings before the japa session, so they must like them. Hopefully they're worthy. The dedication, unlike the bogus gurus and so-called avatars who invaded the West like herds of goats with long beards and donkeys braying, my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, does not cheat. My Guru Maharaj is a swan-like devotee of Sri Sri Kishore and Kishori and delivered the genuine process of self-realization in this Kali Yuga when he handed me my beads. This is a invocation prayer from the Stavamala by Rupa Goswami, texts 15 and 16. Although I'm the lowest and you are the highest, although I am a fool and you are the greatest philosopher, although I am wicked and you are the most saintly, and although I commit offenses when I think of you, still, O Lord, the shadow of whose name delivers one from a host of sins, please be kind to this person who sometimes chants your holy name. So 108 prayers to my mala. I guess I'll take a little of that. Thank you. Radhe, Radhe. Oh Mala, when will I hold you in the morning? Oh Mala, when I hold you in the morning, it is time for prayer and the awakening of Braj, Vishuddha Prem. Hold my hand and take me along the path of grace and introduce me to my old dear friend Shyam Gopal. Japa Yagya is also Prem Nam Sankirtan because of the yogi's spirit of union with the Kali Yuga Patita Pavan avatar, Gauranga, and the assembly of Gaura Bhaktas. O Mala, in your presence, the bats and crows of Kam and Papa fly away, and you transport me from this gray world of forgetfulness to the dynamic, colorful realm of Braj Leela Smaranam. Nam Bhajan is the gateway of all kinds of devotional activities: prayer, worship, save, Leela Smaranam. The owls of this world remain blind to the sun of Taraka Brahmanam and the unknown treasure of one's Vastu city. Awarding Krishna Nam and transcendental understanding, you lead those who hold you in devotion out of the dark forest of delusion like a shining lamp. Beat after beat, O Mala, each round completed, is a garland around Sri Sri Kishore and Kishori, who reside within my heart. My dear lordships, kindly accept this garland of plumeria, another garland of roses, of marigolds, wildflowers, of lotuses. O Mala, you are part of the conspiracy to help me become entangled in prayer, bandhanam, kirtan, remembrance, and hearing. Help me to want to chant, to pray often, to chant with feeling, to pray with deep feeling. Kindly make me eager to have the darshan of Krishna's lotus feet. There is no difference in seeing Krishna's lotus feet and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Allow me to hold you and chant with deep feeling. Chanting and chanting, there is simply no fatigue. Conquering sleep is another victory, and the sadhana casts boulders of conditioning from his shoulders. I was a slave chained by sin until I was freed through sound. Although I am frail and vulnerable, Nam is my safe refuge. Teach me to pray, teach me to chant, teach me to remember, teach me to love the friend I forgot. Who could know that a private meditation could be a festival? Who could know quiet contemplation on holy sound in the morning could be a celebration of joy? I am sick, suffering, and diseased. I have no hope of cure without your merciful intervention. Lust and his comrades are eating my heart. Bless me with the medicine of pure Krishna Nam. O Mala, for many years I was cheated by bogus so-called yogis who never taught the glories of the holy names, who never spoke of the sublime meditation of Japa Yagya. All that changed when Srila Prabhupada gave me my beads. Accepting sadhu sangha, giving up unwanted cravings, I sit in meditation holding my beads. Then everywhere I go is as good as Vrindavan. I shall try and try and try to avoid all offenses and give my heart to Krishna, who has appeared as a pure devotee in Nadia. O Mala, you are found in the hands of the greatest of pure devotees, from Lord Brahma and Narada Muni to Paramahamsas who wander this earthly planet. You are therefore the greatest of friends, who brings one closer and closer to the lotus feet of Madan Gopal. In the morning you help many thousands of Nam yogis gradually see the pastimes of Braj within through the window of a pure mind. For those Gaura Bhaktas who live in foreign countries with no access to the Ganga or Jamuna, just to hold their mala in the morning is an anointing in the sacred waters of Nam Bhajan. O Mala, you lead the Japa Yogi from the dense material forest of tigers and snakes and lead him on the pathways of happiness to Braj meadows and the forest of Vrindavan, full of multicolored cows and the sound of Krishna's flute. O Mala, the Kanishtas may wonder, how much longer do they have to chant japa? The Madhyamas think this name of Krishna is so fascinating, and the Uttama Bhaktas hold you in ecstasy day and night. Just like a great bhakta of Gauranga Leela, your association is infectious. Anyone who touches you chants Krishna, Krishna. Mala, Gauranga, and Nam fill the universe with joy, even in the midst of Kali Yuga. Just like a dear friend I embrace in the morning, my heart dances with new life. O Mother Tulsi, how intimately you connect the most insignificant soul with Krishna's fragrant lotus feet. Each bead has its own character, like so many different golden gopis. Like a rescue rope, anyone who accepts you attains Braj Prem. Shaped like a Ras Mandal, you award Prem Nam, eternal and ever fresh. How can a simple garland of beads offer complete shelter from the fear and anxiety of material life? It looks to me as if everyone in the world is running around madly in anxiety looking for their lost japa mala. I want to hold my mala eternally. You are a necklace of gems for the prideless Nam Yogi, and you reveal the smoky black diamond. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna is the Siddha mantra. Chant Hare Krishna, and your life will be sublime. The book of rules governing the time and place of chanting does not exist. Nam bhajan is a mystical communion advocated in all religious traditions. O Mala, the holy names are the earrings of Kishori, and you are a necklace of pearls. You destroy sins like mountain boulders crushing a pile of sticks. Gauranga chanted on knotted string. The 6 Goswamis and Haridas Thakur chanted a fixed number of rounds a day. Sachi Sutta Prabhu from Armenia and other Gaudiyas imprisoned in Russian jails would chant on dry salted bread beads as good as Chintamani. Here is the one hard and fast rule regarding Japa Jagya. Chant, always chant Nam Bhajan. Nam Ruchi is the ripened fruit of chanting. This precious fruit takes time to ripen. Bless me, O Mala, with patience and impossible determination. There is no difference in chanting Hare Krishna and thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna. Japa Jagya is the perfection of meditation. O Krishna, how accessible you are. O Mala, you facilitate my meeting with Krishna. Who can keep me away? Let me fly to the spiritual sky in the Vimana of Nam. O Mala, allow us to enter the sacred realm of Nam Dham. If I find a basket of mala for sale in a thieves' market, I shall beg, borrow, or steal to purchase this treasure. I will go everywhere saying, take, take, chant, chant. In Braj, Banamali wears a garland of forest flowers, and the Japa Yogi wears a garland of Shamanam. Oh, how fortunate the heart chamber where Krishna Nam echoes. How fortunate those ears who drink the potent nectar of Shuddhnam. How fortunate the tongue on which Krishna walks across with his sweet lotus feet, just as he does on the meadows of Vrindavan. And how fortunate, O Mala, are those hands which hold you. O Mala, you represent the most important Siksha of my Guru Maharaj. Chant and always remember Krishna. One who has no connection with you has no connection with Harinam. One who has no connection with Nam has no connection with Krishna in this dark age. Just as Jagannath is not wood, so you are not matter. You are sacred, and the Nam Yogi, like a pujari, handles you delicately and with love. You award perfection in an age where desolation is all around. Humans sleepwalk through life and at death free fall to animal species or lower. Crying out with desperation will eventually bring one to the level of Brahman. That Brahman effulgence is just like a curtain on the stage of Krishna Lila. O Mala, I am a beggar, but you are my necklace of jewels. Kindly lift this blinding light so that I can once again see Krishna's form of bliss. If one embraces you offenselessly, there is liberation and devotion. Holding you, one has easy access to Krishna and to hope. Although I have cried when I was alone, why can't I cry that I have left Krishna? When love and desperation merge in my chanting, holding you, I shall cry out and taste the holy vibration. You console me, someday you will attain Krishna. You counsel me, no matter how low you feel, stay close to Krishna. He will purify you. Engaging the tactile sense, regulating the counting method, O Mala, by embracing you, I am embracing my old dear friend. The dark cloud of Krishna Nam creates a storm within my heart, the thunder of Ram, Ram, and the lightning flash of the golden mother Hara produce the rain of prema within. O Mala, my dear friends, you tolerate my low appetites and help me to become stronger. Please introduce me to the universal and supreme friend, Krishna. Just by taking up their japa beads seriously, many thousands of yogis have given up their diseased compulsions, which have afflicted them for many lifetimes. My dear Mala, kindly help me to forget my fallen past and revive my innocence. You have the power to lift me up. People may consider me crazy praying to my beads, but Lord Krishna and his paraphernalia of devotional service are non-different. Such is the absolute nature of Parabrahman. O Mala, for me you are Krishna. Krishna, his seva entourage, and paraphernalia are not different. You are a powerful, blissful resource connecting me with the Supreme Absolute. Love of God is the goal of life, and nothing develops such love in this age more than meditation on Sri Nam, and you facilitate such holy concentration. Indeed, you are this magic instrument that allows the blind jivas to see with their ears. Krishna Nam is the most valuable commodity and can be purchased at the marketplace where gold has no value. Run to the marketplace of Prem Nam and bring an excessive eagerness for Vraja Prem. Place yourself at the feet of the transcendental broker Sri Nityananda Ram and beg for his mercy. O Mala, we are co-conspirators engaged in the mission to capture the elusive Krishna. Although he is one without a second and self-sufficient, he is enamored by the sound of Prem Nam. O Mala, dear friend, as I sit in meditation within, kindly lift the thin veil of darkness that will allow me to have the vision of Braj in the new morning light. O Maharani, you serve Krishna in every phase of time. In this storm of life, I take it as a shelter to hold you. Having fallen into the cold and fierce ocean of material existence, I cling to the rope of redemption as I chant. Like a kind teacher, you take my hand and show me how to write Krishna across my heart. Like a dear friend, you take my hand and bring me to the enchanting forest of Kusamvan to introduce me to the beloved whom I had lost. Like a potent medication, you suppress my appetite for sinful things and allow my tongue to taste a sweet nectar. As I chant and chant and chant, the more love I hope to feel. Where there is love, there is freedom. O Mala, let me fly out of the universe. Just as Jagannath is not wood, but the living transcendental Lord of the universe, so you are alive. Like a kunda surrounded by desire trees of Prem Nam, you are a sanctuary for the weary pilgrim. All doubts vanish like ghosts fleeing the mandir of the heart when the japa yogi holds you close. O Mother Tulsi, you know the time when these blind ears will once again see Krishna Kishore. When, oh when will that day be mine? All worries run away like rats from a temple of the mind when the Nam Yogi embraces you. As Krishna danced upon Kaliya with his tender lotus feet, kindly tame my serpent tongue. You cool the fever of material life like a Braj Kund and introduce the wandering jiva to the goal of the Vedas. Everyone is shackled with chains of lust and bewilderment. Let everyone wear Tulsi on their bodies and hold Tulsi in their hands in full freedom. O Mala, dear friend, with your help I will capture the lovely, dark bumblebee of Krishna with the net of my lips. O Krishna, you may sting me or sit on the flower of my heart, but I shall never leave you. When I chant, I am not so much holding beads as I am embracing Sham Nam. Striped beautifully like tigers, you engage my senses and connect me with Krishna. O Japamala, you are an instrument of tragedy. My mundane relationships are dead, and I have no hope for a happy material life. You create disasters in my heart. There is a tornado of affection for Radha Sham. An earthquake of transcendental understanding devastates the monuments of false conceptions, and a tsunami of happiness inundates the meadows of my soul. O Mala, you facilitate profound chanting, a mystic meditation, a sacred rendezvous with Kishore and Kishori within the forest of Vrindavan. Nam chanted every morning takes the japa yogi from the darkness of material life to the light of Krishna Prem. Although I am unfortunate and have no attraction to Krishna, holding you awakens my taste for Nam Jagya. Like a water pot, you nourish the seed of Nam Bij, a weapon in the hands of a Nam Yogi. The transcendental paraphernalia of Krishna is non-different from Krishna, and you connect us with Krishna, you are alive. Dull, complacent sound vibration cannot exit the cosmic layers. Only desperate chanting pierces the covering of the Brahmanda and enters the Goloka realm. As ordinary wood has fire within, you extract the dormant Krishna consciousness from the wood-like hearts of ordinary souls. Nam is Suhrit, a well-wishing friend within the heart, and as we hold our mala, there is connection. Nam is Chintamani. Mala are just like so many jewels. As I chant bead after bead, jewel after jewel, kindly Krishnaize me. Showing kindness upon the conditioned souls, you chase demons from the blood and ghosts from the mind. But your greatest miracle is that you deliver Braj Prem to the heart of the fallen. Whenever I walk with you and hold you in the morning, I remember my dearmost friend, Shyam Kishore. O Mala, you are non-different from Nam. You are the treasure map, the endeavor, the goal, jewels of prem. It is cleansing to bathe at the morning well in the morning. It is cleansing to bathe at the village well in the morning. More cleansing still to bathe in the Ganga at midday. But the supreme purity is to swim in the Kund of Japa Jagya all night long. O Mala, wherever I wander throughout the day, as a pilgrim on a sacred journey, I will always return to Nam and to you. I am a neophyte and my life is full of many troubles. Yet despite this, I shall always hold you and chant. I shall chant. I shall chant. I shall hold you and chant. O Mala, you are the servant of Jogeshvara Hari, the supreme magician. You can change matter into spirit as he likes. Kindly bring me from the darkness to the light, from sadness to joy. When I hold you in the morning, whispering Nam, as Bhakti Vinod declares, life has wonderful meaning. There is no fear and the universe is full of joy. O Mala, like a jeweler fascinated by an exquisite sapphire, captured by its radiance, I study it intently, holding it with my fingers, and I chant and chant and chant, and I see the jewel of Nam with the eyes of my ears.
Hare Krishna. You have, all you in Radio Land and in this room, you've been listening to Chandra Shekhar Das read his wonderful poem, 108 verses, to his mala. And he has spent half his life preaching in prisons and is famous as the minister of prison preaching. And he has graced us with a beautiful reading of a wonderful eulogy of his mala. And we thank you so much for that.
It really touches my heart. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Prabhu.
I heard that from another senior devotee that this actually is true that mala is alive, as you were mentioning the prayers also.
Yes.
But I was just holding myself to preach to that other devotees because I don't have a Shastric reference for that. Can you help me in that matter also?
Prabhu, I could probably help you with that, but I'm not in my home reference library. I have no possession in this world except I have some beautiful books. And I could probably help you with that if I was with my books. But suffice it to say that Bhakti Vinod Thakur, I think you walked in a little later, but he said there's no difference in touching your japa mala and touching Krishna's lotus feet. So to reference that, I'd have to pull that out. But yes. Oh, there's an Indian gentleman in the States who's helping me put my works together. So I can give you my email and we can get it to you in due course. Mm-mm. No, I don't travel to Russia. No. I will tell you all something that will help you with your japa mala. People have asked me, and I've answered, and this answer seems to help a lot of people. People want to enter more deeply into their japa mala. Here's my secret. That, of course, in the first place, we're all trying our best. We're following we're not committing offenses against devotees. So, I have a few tips. And the tips are this. Get to bed as early as possible, so that you can get up as early as possible. Because when you get up and you sacrifice your sleep early in the morning, Krishna will appear to you. And your japa will be very profound. As you'll see, many of the devotees, they get up well before Mangal Artik, and they're chanting most of their rounds before Mangal Artik. Krishna appreciates this sacrifice so much because we've given up all mundane sense gratification, and when we minimize our eating to just what we need, and minimize our sleeping to just what we need, Krishna is so responsive. If he'll respond to me, he'll respond to you. And he'll reveal his Leela. Not just all of a sudden, that dark curtain that you see when you close your eyes becomes Brajdam. But incrementally. Prabhupada was in Detroit, and Bhagavan walked out of the room with his eyes wide open. So we knew Prabhupada had told him something special. So he said, Prabhu, what did Prabhupada say? He said, Prabhupada just told me that if you continue following properly, Chani Japa, with full attention, to the best of your ability, Krishna will reveal all of the pastimes that you've read about. And then Srila Prabhupada said, and if you continue chanting, Krishna will reveal all the pastimes you've never read about. You've had so many pastimes with Krishna. This is our philosophy. I could also reference it. It's also Gaur Govinda Maharaj's solid position that we fall and we don't fall from Krishna. We fall, we think we've fallen. Anyways, we had so many pastimes with Krishna. We can remember all that. They'll be evoked from our heart. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada gives us an indication that you don't have to be a big Paramahamsa before these Leela are revealed to you incrementally. They will come. They'll be forced upon you because of your standard discipline in the Sankirtan movement. Reducing eating and sleeping. We've already given up all the other stuff, you know. Just to what you need. I don't need to eat what a young man needs to eat. So I need to adjust everything accordingly. You're supposed to mature in devotion. I'll be tested differently now than when I was a young man. But we're always going to be tested until we come to that place of bhav and vishuddha prem. But we should feel very enlivened. We should be very excited. Here's the other thing I wanted to mention. Before I begin my japa session in the morning, I have a standard list of prayers that I say. Prayers to Prabhupada, prayers to Gaur-Nitai, prayers to Haridas Thakur, and to the Divine Couple. And it takes me anywhere from 10 or 20 minutes, depending on the day, whatever the day might be, and whatever prayers I might include. But I can tell you I'm begging for Nam Kripa at that time, before my japa session. I'm praying as feelingly as possible. So I've gotten up early in the morning, and I'm begging for Nam Kripa before the japa session. And I'm trying to chant each holy name clearly. I can assure you, you're probably already way advanced than I am, but I can assure you if you take these measures, your japa will be profound. And you won't have to feel, you won't have to ask questions in class, how can I be more enlivened about my japa? Krishna will excite you. And there'll be a connection. That's what we're all about. We're Nam yogis. We want a connection with Krishna. Prabhupada says, I have 3 magic things that I do. The first thing is I don't cheat, like all the other yogis I met before coming to the movement. All these bogus so-called yogis. Prabhupada said, I can be in a room of beautiful women and not be agitated. Another magic thing. And I can transform mlechas into Vaishnavas. Just imagine what relief I felt when I met Srila Prabhupada. And he spoke with he was full of authority. he was heavy with Vedic authority. And I realized he's not cheating me. Everybody else was, oh, God's up there. God's a force. There is no God. You're God. I'm God. I'm God. I'm God with a toothache. You know, one yogi had a big poster. He's advertising we're all God. But his lecture was canceled because he had a toothache. Haribol. It begins the night before. You have to take rest as early as possible. Get up as early as possible to associate with your most beloved friend, the divine couple, Shri Shri Kishore and Kishori. There'll be a connection. Chant clearly each holy name. It's something wonderful. We really have to beg Nam Kripa before our japa session, any other time during the day. And Nam is responsive. When we make that sacrifice, my roommate and I were getting up at 2 in the morning in West Virginia. Nobody else was getting up at 2 in the morning. We got up at 2 in the morning and we chanted our hearts out. That was my most profound and deepest chanting. And it still happens, depending on if I'm not sick. So forgive me. Any other questions? I have some other nice things if we have time. I think we have time. Yes, Prabhu, here we go.
Any prayers to be able to sleep early also?
Yes, here's my dear Lord Krishna. Please help me to get to sleep early. No, I'm.
Normally, these prayers are remembered on a personal level, but I remember to pray once when I get late to be able to sleep early today. But in the night, in the evenings, I don't remember the prayer.
You know, you have to want Krishna. Somehow or other, I'm still here after 45 years. When I came to this movement, I really wanted to know who is God and to make a connection. So I'm still struggling. And one time a devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what service pleases you the most? Srila Prabhupada looked right at him. He said, when I see you struggling for Krishna, that pleases me the most. So you have to really want Krishna. You want to have to get off the computer, stop the social talks, you know, what to speak of the other things that might be distractions. In the evening, you know how we can go late with just things that are not important. So a devotee, he's surrendered, he doesn't waste time. He doesn't waste a moment. You have to want Krishna. When you want Krishna, you arrange your day in such a way that you cannot forget Krishna. And it begins with getting sufficient rest and getting up as early as possible. Of course, everybody's schedule varies. I understand that. When I was a householder, I sometimes couldn't get up and chant early. But when I came home, I would shower and sit and chant 16 rounds as if it were Brahma Muhurta and not let anything distract me. I would do my very best. So if you want Krishna, he'll give you the intelligence to arrange your day in such a way that facilitates your remembrance of him. And when you get your rounds done early in the morning, I don't have to tell you what strength it gives you. And you have to chant knowing I'm getting strength from this holy name. Not that I think, oh, I'm getting up so early, I have to take rest after lunch. In my own place, I hardly ever take rest after lunch. I don't take snaps after lunch, unless I'm not feeling well or something like that. I'm getting older, but typically I go all day, and I sleep 6 hours or less. So, how does go to bed early? You have to pray to Krishna. Krishna, please help me to go to bed early. Haribol.
question. I heard from some devotee that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he used to complete his chanting in 1 hour 30 minutes. And when we really try to chant fast, we tend to skip the mantra. And when we really try to hear the mantra and chant clearly, so we tend to spend more time, somewhere about 2 hours 30 minutes or 2 hours 45 minutes sometimes. So what is the ideal time, or what is the ideal thing a devotee should follow?
I don't know, you might ask that question to a lot of devotees and get a lot of different answers. But I can tell you that there's no substitute from enunciating clearly. Each holy name has to be enunciated clearly, as we might have a tendency to soften the hare hare sometimes and skip over or something like that, whatever. Krish means the repetition of births, and na means no more. So you have to say Krishna, and you have to say Hare, Rama. You have to enunciate clearly. Typically, it should take between 7 and 8 minutes. And there's no time. I don't want to. If you're taking too long, I don't think the concentration is there. If you're taking too long, I would say over 9 minutes, then I don't think the concentration is there. I think you get in a transcendental groove, as they say. You're enunciating clearly, you're focusing, and you're chanting between 7 and 8 minutes. Each holy name, each holy name. That's another thing. You must chant each syllable of the Mahamantra. That's another point. That's another important point. I've been traveling all over India, and I'm seeing everywhere I go, I hate to say this, I hate to be negative, I try to be uplifting, but I see the boys are falling asleep. Honestly speaking, I haven't fallen asleep for 10, 20, 30 years, because I want to hear the holy names. I'm not sleeping when I'm chanting. It's nothing like that. I really try to make it an intense meditation. Prabhupada's giving me something very valuable. He's not cheating me. Here's an instrument of self-realization, self-discovery, connection with God. I don't take it cheaply. So, yes, please, you have to chant clearly. We all have to chant clearly. There's no substitute for that. Now, these are my perspectives, that if your chanting takes a little longer, I don't think the concentration is... I think the mind's going other places. I chant with half-closed eyes. I'm not chanting with open eyes. This is also recommended by like the Ashtanga yogis or something, but it's very simple, and it comes naturally. I just concentrate right here. My vision isn't going elsewhere. I'm really trying to see Nam with my ears. I have some other things too. Any other questions on Nam? Oh yes, Prabhu.
During last year or 4 months, I was in Mayapur. I've seen a few devotees chanting 64 hours a day. It's normal for them,
Yes.
A few of the Nams. And the chanting which they are doing from, like you were saying right now, 2 to 4 in the morning, 16 hours they are chanting, by whatever you told me right now.
Yes.
So that is having the most profound effect on our consciousness. Good for us, more beneficial. Chanting we do from 2 to 4 in the morning.
Well.
As compared to the other rounds, 16 rounds which we are doing rest of the day,
Well, there's different gradations of devotees. So there's nothing wrong with being a Kanishta devotee. It means you're in devotional service. And there's gradations of Kanishta devotees, known by their symptoms. Beyond that, there's gradations of Madhyama. And there are gradations of Uttama, and there are 5 types of Mahabhagavatas. So at any rate, for the beginner devotees, typically, yes, Brahma Muhurta is the most profound time for chanting. But for an Uttama Bhakta, it makes no difference. Nor so much for an advanced Madhyama Bhakta. They're very strong in their chanting day or night. Day or night. And they know they're getting power and strength from Nam, and they're not losing. They're not losing. We should not be falling asleep when we're chanting japa. We should stand up and we should be serious about this meditation. And there's other things, it's the same thing. I see it. I mean, I've seen it for years. It's just like somebody's in class and they're chanting japa while they're listening to Bhagavatam class. And you want to slap them in the head.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to do that.
During kirtan.
Yeah, it still goes on. I'm very surprised. I never say anything to the devotees. I never open my mouth. But please, I'm telling you, Krishna wants us back home more than we can imagine. And his capacity to love us is beyond our imagination. He really wants us back home, but we have to do our part. It's so easy in Kali Yuga. We should just take advantage.
Sometimes it's found that while singing, I'm not talking of chanting, I'm talking of kirtans. Sometimes kind of with an objective to kind of invent something new or do something new. Sometimes devotees come up with very untimely rags or tunes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, in classical there are times and there are tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even if somebody is not aware of that, sometimes we get a feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's not proper for this time. Sometimes Guru will find people just. So it sometimes irritates. But the naam is there, but the tune is not proper. I mean, it sometimes irritates.
Well, one time I was raised by Vrindavan Swami, so he was a musician, and so he wrote a melody for the Samsara prayers, and his cousin Revati Nandan in London played it for Prabhupada in London, and it went like this. Samsara dava nalalita loka janaya karun. And when Prabhupada heard it, he went. Prabhupada didn't like the melody. That's what Vrindavan Swami told me personally. So, Vrindavan Swami? Yeah, he made up. Huh?
So Prabhupada didn't like that?
He didn't like that melody.
It was popular too in those days.
I know, it's popular. I didn't say it wasn't popular. There's a lot of things that are popular.
Especially sung in the time of afternoon Pushpanjali.
At any rate, so we're chanting for the pleasure of the deities.
It's also one of the evening tunes. It's also one of the evening tunes of the Samsara.
If you say so. Maharaj told me a lot of things. He told me a prayer. This is a prayer Prabhupada taught him before offering prasadam that we used to say together. It's in Radha Damodar Vilas. Anyways, I could say the prayer, but maybe there's some other things we can focus on. Huh?
Tell us what you're going to say.
Well, okay. I just see 5 of 6. We would say this prayer before taking prasadam. My dear Lord, what of mine was my value? What is the value of my things? It is nothing. I, whom eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, have identified with that which is temporary, miserable, and ignorant. But you, my dear Lord, are the most expert mystic, and as such, you can change matter into spirit as you like. And as you were always anxious to accept the offerings in the hands of your pure devotees, so we're offering this in the hands of your most pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Please accept it. Hare Krishna. That's a nice prayer we'd say before prasadam. I had some other things to get to, but it's almost 6 o'clock. I'd like to tell you a story that you've never heard before. How about that? About Prabhupada. You'll like this. So, in 1924, the American Congress enacted the Exclusion of Orientals Act, which made it very restrictive to come to the States from the Far East and India. So that act was rescinded in 65, which at that time made it possible for Prabhupada to come. But Prabhupada needed many things, really. He needed transport. So everybody that knows the story of how Srila Prabhupada came to America, raise your hands. Everybody knows the story. Prabhupada said Sumati Maharaj noticed him, this Bengali sadhu, chanting at Kurukshetra, and approached him, and they exchanged cards. Prabhupada got the idea, let me ask. So she gave, yes, okay. Prabhupada needed a P form. Prabhupada needed a no objection certificate. Prabhupada needed a sponsor. Everybody who knows the story of how Prabhupada got a sponsor, raise your hand. Everybody knows the story. Mr. Agarwal in Mathura had his son in Butler, Pennsylvania. We all know that story. Well, Prabhupada needed a visa. Everybody that knows the story of how Prabhupada got his visa, raise your hand. Oh, everybody's raised. How did Prabhupada get his visa?
Basically, there was a person in
Use the microphone.
Oh, this is good.
there was someone known to Prabhupada in Mathura, and his son Gopal was residing in
That's his sponsor.
That's his sponsor.
I was very surprised when I saw your hand go up. Anybody who knows how Prabhupada got his visa, raise his hand. Visa. Nobody knows.
Somebody else made it and he sent it by post, but I don't know the name. Prabhupada got it all of a sudden.
That may be true, but he had to get the visa. I don't know how it got to him. Okay, so here's the story. Would you like to hear the story? Yes. Haribol. It's a very nice story. The act was rescinded. So to get the visa, he needed a letter of recommendation from a person of stature in India. So first he needed that letter before he could get a visa. It's not like we just apply through Travisa and we get our visa. So he approached Dr. Radhakrishna, the former president of India, a big man, and they were colleagues. They had some contact. So he said, you please give me this one letter of recommendation. Like Prabhupada's just on the verge of going to the West and fulfilling the order of his spiritual master, and all he needs is a letter of recommendation. Everything else is there. And like Sumati Maharaj, they were like brothers. Sumati Maharaj said, no, I don't think you should go, Swami. You're 70, your health, America, what will you eat? She was like motherly and loving. So he was like a brother with Prabhupada. They were both older gentlemen. So he said, no, you don't need to go through this trouble. So he didn't know Prabhupada's determination. So anyways, Prabhupada got upset with him that he wouldn't give him the letter. Prabhupada's angry. He said, you call yourself a big government minister. He's still involved in politics. But what are you doing for the prisoners of state? You don't show them any concern. You're not looking after their welfare. Where did Prabhupada... So Prabhupada had been preaching to prisoners in Delhi before ever coming to America at Janakpur Tihar prisons, the largest prison in Asia. And Prabhupada had a great affinity for the prisoners. He wrote Puri Maharaj and he said, our Thursday night meetings are going wonderfully, and I'm confident in transforming these gentlemen to first-class saintly persons. So Prabhupada was fired up about prisoners. And so for some reason he was telling Dr. Radha and Krishna, for the government, they're all citizens, whether they're college boys or they're prisoners, you should show concern and help them, rehabilitate, and introduce spiritual program. So there's some back and forth between Dr. Radha Krishna and Prabhupada like this. And so Dr. Radha and Krishna said, very well. And we will organize one prison program at Mindapur Central Jail. And we will see how things go. And then we'll see about your letter of recommendation. So there was a prison program set up. And as you might imagine, it went wonderfully. With Prabhupada's kirtan, Prabhupada's preaching, he captured the hearts of the guards, the administrators, and the inmates. And the word got back to Dr. Radha and Krishna, and he provided that letter of recommendation. Srila Prabhupada ki. So the way I look at it is that college boys and prisoners, they all deserve a chance at redemption. Who are we? What's the quote? Sajjan dhurjan pangu, jad andaghana, prem vanyaya dubhaila jagatera jana. This Krishna consciousness movement will inundate the entire world and drown everyone, whether a gentleman, a rogue, or even lame, invalid, or blind. Just last October 1st, an inmate was initiated in jail by Vaisheshika Prabhu. He has an interesting background. The prisoner was a first-class gangster. He was the head of an Aryan Nations chapter of a white supremacist group in Arizona, America. They are extremely vicious and violent gang with deep hate for blacks, Mexicans, browns, anybody, and Jews. They have a deep, violent hatred for these people. And so he was in prison for murder. He's never getting out of prison. Until one day he saw my advertisement in a prison resource list. If you're interested in yoga and meditation, contact these people. And I'm one of the contacts. So I get several hundred inquiries every month. And that's been going on for 30 years. So he was one of my inquiries one month. So I sent him a standard packet to screen him, to screen anyone, to see. I write a little philosophy. I write about the holy names, no meat eating, and some other things, and tell us about yourself and your spiritual journey. And if they reply nicely, they get a packet of books. Well, he replied very nicely. He got a packet of books, and he became a very first-class Brahmin. His handwriting's like an angel. He's very smart, and he was just initiated Balavan Nitai Das. One soul saved. The whole mission's a success. Here's another soul. He says, he's writing to me. It's a very beautiful introduction, but I'll just get to the point. Hare Krishna, so I opened the latest letter from my friend and teacher and was met with the wonderful smiling face of my Srila Prabhupada. What a joy. And along with this beautiful sight came the greatest of messages. I was reading through the facts you wrote about ISKCON, the number of farms, temples, devotees, and right at the end, this is your family. The thought of belonging to such a thing as ISKCON, to a group of dedicated, high-class devotees, what a humbling honor. Thank you for sending me this treasured message, for reminding me that ISKCON is a family to which I belong, my true family. I cannot even begin to tell you how much this means to me. And I was in Brudge a couple years ago. I said, let's go to prison. So sometimes we go to Mathura. Have you been to Mathura prison? The ladies come with the kids, and they sit on one side, and the guys sit in front of you, and we have kirtan. We have a wonderful program. But this time we went to Agra. And so we cleared security, and so the devotee first says to me, well, let's go see the Goshal. I said, let's go see the Goshal. what do you mean, Gosha? Let's go see the cows. I say, oh, okay, what's the story with the cows? He said, well, they caught the guy stealing cows, so they kept him and the cows. So I went to see the cows. They were the most beautiful herd of cows I've ever seen in my life. They were like from Braj. They were like from Goloka. They were all different colors, just like described, and clean and beautiful, and they're all cared for by the inmates. And as they're showing me the Gosha, there's 2 tulsi bushes this wide and this big and healthy as any of our tulsi. And they're all cared for by the inmates. So, Haribo. And so I start to walk. We leave that area. I start to walk. I go, what's that? He goes, that's spinach. I go, what's that? And he goes, those are potatoes. This was a 12-acre prison that looked like the cleanest village in India. There wasn't a spot of dirt anywhere. It looked like a lush Vrindavan landscape when Krishna was here. I took pictures of it. It just is, it's not like even in India. It was so beautiful. So I keep walking, and I'm looking, and I'm like, what is that? And it's like this open-air Vraj Mandir Kirtan pavilion, about as long as a train car. And there were inmates with coal and kartals having kirtan. Haribo. So I go in and look at the altar, and right in front of me is Krishna Balaram. Big, huge picture. I see Radha Shyama Sundar, Nitai Gaur, right there. And that's their altar. And then, so we leave that area, and I hear kirtan over the loudspeakers. And I said, oh, they play tapes? They play tapes of kirtan here? And they go, that's not a tape, they're having kirtan. And we walked, there's a huge wall, and then we walked through a small door, and you walked into this scene, it looked like the sages of Naimisharanya. There are all these yogis there. There are all these inmates, but they had turbans and long beards, and they all looked like yogis. It just looked like the sages of Naimisharanya sitting on this huge neem tree. It must have been 1,000. And they're all having kirtan. So that's what's possible. But if we don't show some concern for inmates, then they're just rotting. We really can't let that happen. So I don't know if class is over or not, but I had one other thing. I don't know, it's up to you. You're in charge. Okay, this is very quick, okay? It's short. Here, can you pass these out real quick, Prabhu? Just give a couple, just so you can kind of see what it's about. There's a gentleman in the back, the ladies. I think you'll like this. This is called Vaishnav Mahima. Glorification of the Vaishnav. Ladies over there. This is dedicated to Srila Prabhupada and all the foot soldiers and unsung heroes he has inspired in the Sankirtan army of H.G.Chandra. I've written these 16 prayers to my godbrother, who's a book distributor. And you'll see his pictures on the back. His name is Dharmila Das, and his picture's on the inside. So here's the real introduction. I'll get through this quickly so we can be done. His Grace Dharmila Das is well known amongst his friends in the community of Vaishnavas to be empowered to meet and benefit material celebrities. Years ago, he would meet movie stars and others in Los Angeles and in the Hollywood area. Now in the French Quarter of New Orleans, he continues to meet all kinds of celebrities and other good souls and gives them Krishna consciousness. And here's the quote from the Bhagavatam. A devotee is also sometimes described as Uttama Shloka, meaning that he is eager to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Lord's devotees. Glorifying the Lord and glorifying the Lord's devotees are the same. Or rather, glorifying the devotee is more important than glorifying the Lord directly. So here's 16 prayers in honor of my godbrother. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. By introducing Srila Prabhupada to the lost souls, both famous and obscure, he is freeing the prisoners of this material world. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. He cracks jokes with the bewildered conditioned souls in the mood of Lord Nityananda just to save the fallen from the chunga, spike pit of material existence. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. Slapping the cheeks of the tiger of Kali, he rescues his brothers and sisters from the jungle of the modern cities. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. He is a frontline soldier in the army of H.G.Chandra and approaches both the gentle and the ruffians, destroying their misconceptions with the potent weapons of Srila Prabhupada's books. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. He is empowered to meet with material celebrities and other obscure souls who have lost their way. By distributing books, he gives life to all varieties of zombies roaming the wasteland of this material world. I offer my respectful obeisances to Dramila. By joking and teasing his brothers and sisters, he delivers fallen souls from unhappiness, just as Shamlal teases the gopis of Braj and delivers them from the pangs of separation. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. As a commando in Prabhupada's guerrilla army, he spreads the joy of the Sankirtan movement worldwide. As Prabhupada's books leave Louisiana and go to all corners of the world, I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. Forsaking a comfortable life in a remote ashram, he goes to hell to deliver the hogs and dogs from the mud pit of Kali Yuga and the camels and asses from the desert of the French Quarter. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. As the pujari places the sacred Kshatriya crown on the heads of fortunate pilgrims, Dramila places caps of sanctification on the heads of lucky tourists, liberating Lakshmi Devi as they happily purchase Prabhupada's books. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. He is the expert magician who convinces the unwilling to joyfully take the process of self-realization, Gauranga's Harinam Sankirtan. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. As the expert teacher finds the means to deliver the students from nescience, so Dramila Prabhu provides the favorable breezes of books to guide the distressed from an ocean of delusion to the shores of bhakti. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. Seen with equal vision, he gives all lost souls, famous and infamous, foolish and grave, the compass of Srila Prabhupada's books and a chance at joy. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. He enlightens smiling fools who may be low or high by material estimation and are trapped in the flaming cage of the bodily conception by giving them the highest benediction of Srila Prabhupada's books. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. For souls walking in the perpetual night of ignorance, he causes the sun of Gauranga to rise in their hearts by giving them Srila Prabhupada's books. I offer my affectionate respects to Dramila. By freely distributing Prabhupada's books, he provides the key of freedom for those in the prison of lamentation, even if they are diseased, impoverished, or have lost a loved one. I offer millions of affectionate respects to my godbrother Dramila, who was a humble servant of Srila Prabhupada's order to distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. On the back cover, the devotee is called Punya Shloka. As one becomes purified by chanting the holy name of the Lord, so one can become purified simply by chanting the name of a holy devotee. The pure devotee of the Lord and the Lord himself are non-different. It is sometimes feasible to chant the name of a holy devotee. This is a very sanctified process. So is that okay? I've also written 192 prayers to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, since he he chanted 192 rounds every day. And I've written several hundred prayers. Each are pages long. One edition called The Gopis of Kusamban, and another called Blue Lotus Golden Moon, Prayers in the Mood of the Gopis. So I have written these things. I never thought I'd even publish anything, but someone came forward. I went to see the Brigo in Karoli, and where Indradumna Maharaj went to see the astrologer, and he said, you'll be opening goshals and producing your books and so many things. And I had, how am I going to open a goshal? And how am I going to write books? And how will I get published? I mean, I've written, but how would I publish? Anyway, so we just inaugurated another goshal, number 2, in Maharashtra. We have one in Parbhani, and one in a small village. I forget the name. We just opened it the other day. We had a ribbon cutting ceremony. So 2 goshals so far, and more to come. Everybody there in Parbhani owns land, so I'm telling everybody, you have to start growing grains. So anyways, these things are I never realized this would be happening. Anyways, these other books are forthcoming, so if you get my email, maybe I can get those books to you. I don't charge anything. I just give them away. Okay, so. All right, thanks everybody. It was a pleasure to be here. His Divine Grace, Mahapatita Pavanadev Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jaya. Hey, Radhe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You don't have goshalas at the prison.